Welcome to Azeroth United, a weekly podcast about World of Warcraft. My name is Denethar, and I am your host.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Friday night in Azeroth, and we have a great show lined up for you. We're going to be doing a deep dive, or at least a dive, maybe not deep, into the official first look at player housing. And let me tell you, it's going to be way better than I thought. So pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and enjoy. And as always, if you have any questions or comments about the podcast, or if you have a particular topic that you'd like to hear discussed, please email us at azerothunitedpod@gmail.com. Also, if you enjoy the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That really helps out our distribution, so if you're inclined to do so, we'd be very grateful. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can help us out by giving us a like and a subscribe. I'd also like to take a moment to thank our patrons who give their IRL money to help out the production of the show. Our friend of the show patrons are Judge Omni and Stuglife. Thank you so much for your support. You definitely help make Azeroth United possible. Before I get to the news, we'll do a quick rundown of what I got up to last week in WoW. And I got to level 85 in Cataclysm finally, which is weird because, I've been here, done this already. But I definitely am feeling when you're behind the curve, as they say. I don't have gear. I don't have money. I have no heirlooms. I've got nothing. I have no guild. The guild that I'm in is just all my alts. So it's a little weird getting to max level and not really knowing what to do with myself now. Cause I couldn't even queue for normal, Grim Batol or, Halls of Origination or anything like that, because my item level was too low. I still had a Wrath of the Lich King trinket. So I had to do a couple quests in Twilight Highlands. I got a better trinket, and I'm ready to do some stuff. But it's weird. Now I have to try and figure out, can I get my alts geared up and leveled up in Cataclysm before the Joyous Journeys buff goes away, because I'm assuming that's going to go away when Dragon Soul releases, and we'll get to Dragon Soul in a little bit. But it's really tough right now trying to decide what to do, because I'm having fun. I'm really enjoying the game, but it's not like, so in the War Within, when you want to log on and play WoW, there's any number of things that you could do that have nothing to do with running a dungeon or a raid. You could do a delve, you could do world quests, you could do transmog runs, you could do, there's all sorts of things. You can do pet battles. The point is, the game has evolved a lot since 2010 or 11 or whatever version this game was available in. But I have to say that WoW in its purest form is good no matter what. And the gameplay of Cataclysm is among some of the best that I've ever done. It's really good. It's close enough to classic that it still feels good, but it's not the weird modern day game where you're having to press a million buttons. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm struggling to figure out if I even want to continue playing this, because I don't know what to do. But I log on to the War Within, and there's a million things to do. And I might go run a delve. I might do a world quest. I might go do Awakening the Machine or something. But I don't have that same drive. So I guess what it all boils down to is I'm going to continue trying to level up more characters in Cataclysm so that I have them available in Miss Pandaria. Really, that's I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So anyway, it's just weird. I'm struggling to wrap my brain around it. Maybe I just need to think about it a little longer. And we'll do a episode, probably next week's episode will be centered around the Hour of Twilight patch in Cataclysm Classic, Dragon Soul, the 3 new dungeons, all of that stuff. So, all right. In modern WoW, I didn't do a whole lot. I've basically just been doing Turbulent Time Waste. But so my Demon Hunter, I've been trying to get him kind of ready to go for season 2. I'm talking to a guild right now that seems like they're interested in bringing me on. So I don't know. I might end up doing that. So I know I said I was going to play my Resto Druid. Turns out probably not. Probably going to play my Demon Hunter. So, which is good because I can still go and I can tank M plus if I want to on a Demon Hunter. I don't think the Demon Hunter Vengeance Demon Hunter is going to be very good next season. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, it's very interesting trying to figure out what to do. It's this weird lull. I have a lull in Cataclysm. I have a lull in the War Within. Everything is just kind of waiting. So anyway, I my daughter's boyfriend came to visit. He's out of state right now, and so it's been a little bit of chaos here at the house, and trying to keep everything organized and having an extra person and all that. So that's okay. It's fine. He's a good guy, and we're happy to have him here. But it definitely makes things a little bit more challenging. So, and as far as the podcast goes, I do like the Friday night record. I have to be honest. I asked last week for feedback, and I got a lot of feedback, and most of it was, keep it long, keep it once a week or so. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. Somebody did suggest maybe doing some shorts, which I have tried doing some shorts, and that really wasn't very successful. I might do some short form video rather than doing like a YouTube short. And so just take a segment and turn it into a video, like say the news or something along those lines. I'll look into that. But as far as the podcast goes, I'm going to keep the same format, and we're just going to continue on with it as is, and hopefully it'll continue to grow. But last week I recorded on Friday. I released it at midnight as I normally do. So the podcast episode was released Saturday morning at 12 midnight, and I just did not get the numbers that I normally do with a podcast episode, which was a little disappointing. Part of it is people listen to podcasts on their way to work or on the way to school. And so, maybe you're not going to get as many people downloading it because by the time Monday rolls around, there's other podcasts for them to listen to. So maybe yours gets lost in the shuffle. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to give this a couple more attempts because I do like the idea of recording on Friday. So I guess we'll see. Anyway, all right. That's enough of that. Like I said, I mostly just played Cataclysm, and the last bit of leveling up in Cataclysm, I didn't even do quests. I just ran around and did all the Lunar Festival, talking to all the elders, which was kind of cool. With the Joyous Journeys buff, I was getting like 45,000 XP per, which was really nice. So anyway, I'm really just kind of messing around in WoW right now because I know that this is the calm before the storm. Season 2 is about to hit in a couple weeks, hopefully in a couple weeks. We'll see where it goes from there. So anyway, that is enough of all of that. We do have a lot of news. We've got a lot to talk about. Player housing. Whoo, baby. Let's get into it.
It's time for the news.
In Blizzard news, so like I said, there's a lot of news. There's a lot of news that I'm not going to cover today because there's just too much. But we're going to get through everything, and we're going to talk about all of the happenings, or some of the highlights anyway, in the World of Warcraft hemisphere. So, all right, let's start with the easy stuff. So there's the new trading post is out, the February trading post, and Blizzard has, as they mentioned, there are trading post items that are returning items. So there's vendors in Dornogal. So if you go a little ways away from the trading post vendors there, you'll see them. There's, I think, 3 or 4 different vendors, and they all have returning trading post items at 25 to 75% discount. Some of them are pretty cheap. So some of the old mounts, if you remember the Saber, I think it was the first monthly reward that we got, which it was the what am I trying to say? The Warden Night Elf Saber, that one that changes between yellow and white depending on if it's day or night. There's the Bones of the Blood Hunter. So if you didn't get that one's really cool. The Dark Moon Harlequin's Bells, which is something. The Cosmic Weapons Cache, a couple of pets, or a pet and then a mount. So there's some things that it's worth looking at. It's worth checking out. If you missed a reward because you were not available that week or whatever, or that month, or whatever the reasoning is, they're out there. So I would definitely go check that out. See what's out there. Maybe you want to pick something up. The February trading post itself is not particularly great. It's a lot of Lunar Festival themed things, which if that's your jam, then that's cool. That wasn't really for me, so that's fine. But yeah, definitely go check that out and see if there's something you want to pick up. Hopefully you've been saving your tendies. So, all right. Next up is okay. So there's a new store mounts bundle. It's 2 mounts. So if you've seen the broom speeder bike thing that I was talking about last week, if you've seen that in the trading post, there's also the one that you can get from the Love is in the Air. It's really cool looking. They have a new mount bundle on the store that is 2 of those, and it's $30 and you get 600 tenders. So one of them is pink purple, and one of them is blue. I mean, they're really cool looking, but it's a store thing and people are going to be mad. So it's the Sky Witch's Sweeper and the Twilight Witch's Sweeper. So go check it out if you're interested. If you're not, it's fine. Don't be mad if people want to buy it, because I don't know why the store is so divisive. Honestly, I don't get it. Please explain it to me. Put it in the comments. Tell me why it is that the store is bad. I get it that you think Blizzard's being greedy. I get that. Blizzard is here to make money. So why is the store bad? Please tell me. Educate me, because I really genuinely do not understand. If you don't want it, don't buy it. I don't know what else to do. So whatever. It's available through March 31st. It's 2 mounts and 600 tendies for $30. All right. Next up, Blizzard has clarified the drop rate for the X45 Heartbreaker, which is the Love Rocket, and the Love Witch's Sweeper that both drop from the Crown Chemical Company dungeon event for Valentine's Day, or for Love is in the Air. So what they said is, legacy drops, such as the X45 Heartbreaker, have a much higher chance to drop on your first attempt of the day, WoW account wide. There is a very small chance to receive legacy drops on subsequent attempts made that same day for players who enjoy running the content on multiple characters. So if you really want to grind the Love Rocket, you can. So if that's your thing, you can grind on the Love Rocket all night long. New drops, such as the Love Witch's Sweeper, can only drop on your first attempt of the day, WoW account wide, and we'll see an increasing chance to drop with each new day that a first attempt is completed. So in other words, you only get this once. So if you already have the X45 Heartbreaker, but you really want the Love Witch's Sweeper, you only need to run it once a week or once a day on any character, but only 1 time per day. And that's it. That's all it is. So yeah, I mean, yeah, if you don't have the X45, obviously, yeah, you're going to want to keep running it. But if you do, and you just want the new mount, then it should be just once per day. And every day that you don't get it, you're going to get a higher chance. That doesn't mean you're going to be guaranteed to get it by the end of the event, but the sooner you start, the better your odds are going to be. So, and I just have to point out there's a trend going on Reddit right now. So this has been a long running joke on WoW Reddit of people taking lousy pictures of their monitor when they get something cool that happens. So somebody gets a mount, and instead of doing a screenshot like a normal person, they take a picture with their phone, and they hold up the phone and you take a picture of the screen, and then you post a picture from the phone. So it's a terrible looking picture, because a picture of a monitor is always going to look bad. So people have started to up the ante on this, and now they're taking a picture of their phone, taking a picture of their screen, or they're taking a picture of their iPad, taking a picture of their phone. It's getting ridiculous. Somebody had they took a picture, they had it developed, and then they took a picture of that picture. It was chaos. So it's funny. It is funny, but okay, we get it. Move on. All right. That's the fluff news. Let's get into the patch 11.1 stuff. All right. So there's this Goblin Fight Club that's on the PTR for 11.1. It is a cosmetic player combat emote system that you can use in the Low Blow, which is an area in Undermine where there's a fight club. And rather than fighting like normal WoW combat, you get these combat emotes that it's basically like LARPing. So if you've ever wanted to LARP in WoW, or I guess it would just be RP, because people do RP fight and they say, oh, whoever punches you in the ear or something. And so that's a thing that people do and it's fine. But so this is a new fight club that you can get to in Undermine. You get 3 points above your head, and every time your opponent lands a blow on you, you lose a point. I don't know. It's weird. So I guess we're going to have to see how this works. But if this is something that works outside of Undermine, our peers are going to be happy, because I do know that our peers really like to be able to resolve conflicts with combat, but they RP the combat. So this is a way that they could do that. So anyway, I thought it looked kind of cool. Thought maybe this is something interesting that Blizzard was, because the Fight Club is fine, the Brawlers Guild or whatever it's called, it's fine. But this is something different, and I'm all about wanting to have something in WoW that's a little bit different, off the wall. Let's make something up. Let's try something new, and this is definitely something new. Blizzard is taking a lot of chances this time around with this patch. They're just throwing a lot of things at us, and I think it's great. I'm really happy about that. So, check out the new cosmetic player combat emotes in patch 11.1. All right, let's talk about Season 2 Mythic Plus. So they are hitting this harder again. So this was actually a couple days ago that they posted this, but they're going to do the last testing period. I think is going to end on February 11th. And I think it's everything. Oh, no. I'm sorry. This is just the Legacy Dungeon Pool and Operation Floodgate. The next week will be all of the dungeons. So they've got nerfs for Mechagon's Workshop, the Motherload, Theater of Pain, and Operation Floodgate. So, I mean, what more do you want? And it looks like they're pretty substantial nerfs. So I think Blizzard is trying really hard to make Mythic Plus accessible and to make it so that players can get in there and enjoy the content the way it was intended to be enjoyed. Because right now, the frustrating thing that a lot of people have is they go, well, I want to do Mythic Plus, but it's too hard. I want to do these things, but it's too difficult. Yeah, it is. It is too difficult. Not gonna lie, it's hard. But that doesn't mean you can't go in there and try something. And so Blizzard is making it so that it's a little bit more accessible, which means people are going to be a little bit more willing to do it. I think it's good. I'm hoping that this is just the beginning of a trend, and it's not something that Blizzard says, oh, Mythic Plus was too easy, we're going to make it harder. Please don't do that. Make Mythic Plus accessible. Make it so that we can go and do it. Mythic Plus is an endlessly scaling system. People are going to keep going as high as they can. Make the beginnings of it easier. That way, when people are trying to do 23s and 24s, it means something. Whereas right now, it's too hard, and people don't want to go that high up. I think I saw a 21 was like the highest that somebody... Anyway, it doesn't matter. Blizzard is nerfing it now. Hopefully, this is something that stays, but I guess we'll see. So, I'm really looking forward to this dungeon pool. I mean, I don't love Workshop, but I actually really like Theater of Pain. I think it's fun. So I'm hoping that this is fun and that this is a really positive Mythic Plus season, because honestly, we need it, because there was a lot of negativity going around about Mythic Plus this time, and it was hard. It was hard staying positive as somebody who's trying to cover World of Warcraft and talk about all of these different components. I did not want to do Mythic Plus. I felt compelled to run more than I did because I was like, well, if I'm going to talk about it, I should at least know what's going on. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. All right. Let's talk about delves. Oh, okay. So this one is a little, I mean, it makes sense. So that what they did is they are nerfing delves. Well, there's a couple of things. All right. Today we have several Season 2 delve updates. To make curio collecting a more long-form and hopefully engaging experience, obtaining a curio upgrade will always advance a curio's rank by 1, regardless of the completed delve's tier. It will no longer be possible to obtain a rank 4 curio without having obtained its previous ranks in order. So it means you have to get a 1, then a 2, you have to get a 1, and then once you get another one, it brings it up to a 2, and then when you get another one, it brings it up to a 3, and then to a 4. So you're not going to get rank 4 curios from running tier 8 delves anymore, which does make sense. And then what they say is players will still need to be to best higher delve tiers to unlock the higher curio ranks. To help balance this, curio upgrades can now be obtained from a delve's heavy truck and using a restored coffer key and a bountiful. To help balance this, curio upgrades can now also be obtained from a delve's heavy trunk, and using a restored coffer key and a bountiful coffer guarantees a curio to drop. So as long as you're doing your bountiful coffer keys every week, you're going to get your curios. So hopefully it's better this way, because then you're guaranteed to get one to drop. So players will now be guaranteed to earn a Delver's Bounty after completing enough delves. However, only one Delver's Bounty can be earned per character per week. That is actually really good, because that's one thing that I really struggle with, because it's frustrating to not be able to get that. It's just a complete random chance. So 2 new treasure chests have been added to delves. The underpins powerful underlings can be found inside tier 4 delves and above. Defeating a group of these enemies will spawn a new chest, the Nemesis Strongbox. At the end of each of the delves, or at the end of the delve, each subsequent underling group slain will upgrade the chest by 1 rank. Its reward depends on how many underling groups you've defeated, up to 4, with higher delve tiers housing a larger number of underling groups. So as long as you kill 4 groups, you're good. This is just like when Zekvir would control some of the minions, but it's the new big bad for Season 2 delves. And then a tier 11 bountiful delve treasure room now contains a gilded stash that can be looted 3 times a week per character for 7 gilded crests. This should help give players a way to continue progressing their power beyond the limits of the setup that were set up during Season 1. So you have a max, if you're doing tier 11 delves, of 21 gilded crests per week, which is great, because if you're doing 21 a week, that means in 3 weeks you'll have 60 gilded crests, which is enough for 4 upgrades. It's not bad. 4 upgrades in 3 weeks, where last season or this current season you got nothing. This is a good change. This is really positive. But tier 11 delves are hard right now. So to smooth out item level progression and grant more opportunities for players to gain power beyond the tier 8 delve item cap, we've made the following changes. First off, they're nerfing item levels. So tier 6 bountiful coffers will now reward veteran 2 of 8. Tier 8 and above bountiful coffers will now reward champion 2 of 8. And a tier 8 great vault slot will now reward hero 1 of 6. No more 616 gear or whatever the new item level is going to be. Yeah. So you can still upgrade it as far as you could. You have to put in the work to get the runed crests in order to do the upgrade. Or in order to get your gear to that point. Crest quantities. The number of crests earned from tier 4 delves and above have been increased. Delve tiers 9 and above now grant an increasing number of rune crests, up to 13 per tier. Per tier 11 delve completed if you fully upgrade the Nemesis Strongbox. And Delver's Bounties now grant an increased number of crests, up to 10 gilded crests for completing a tier 11 delve. And they are increasing brand's level cap from 60 to 80 and increasing leveling speed through earlier levels. So if you get your brand to level 60, all you have to do is get them from 60 to 80. I mean, these are good changes. The thing is, delves had to start strong. They had to be right out the gate. They had to be one of the best things that you could do to get gear. It makes sense. But now that delves have been established and the people who run delves are going to be able to run them and the people who aren't won't. I think this is good. I think this is a good change. This makes it also so that people who do M+ primarily aren't going to feel compelled to run delves because there's going to be very little incentive for them to do so unless you're only running lower level Mythic Plus. So I could see a scenario where somebody does Mythic Plus up through level 5 or 6 and then does delves through tier 8 or 9. And that's kind of the world that they live in. That's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you'll have really good gear coming out of that. But if you want to get to the better gear, if you want to be able to max your gear out, you have to do Mythic Plus. Because even doing the tier 11 delves, you're only getting one upgrade a week and then an extra upgrade every 3 weeks. So there's not going to be, it'll take you all season. You'll never get there. So you're still going to want to run, if you want to get your gear into the higher levels, you're still going to want to run higher level Mythic Plus. I think you start getting gilded crests at 7 now. So that'll be good. So I don't know. I think this is, good. I'm hoping that they continue to kind of tweak and turn the knobs for delves and make it so that delves are a true endgame pillar and not just a feeder system to Mythic Plus, because that's honestly how it felt for Season 1. What they're doing now, making tier 11 delves work with the players that are running delves, it makes a little bit more sense there. So I guess, I don't know. We'll see. This is all in the PTR, so these numbers could all change, but this is where they're trying to get to. So, all right. Oh boy. Sorry. Delves are a touchy subject for me. Blizzard has released the official blog for the Undermine cartels in patch 11.1. So in case you don't know, the cartels are the Bilgewater cartel led by Monty Gaslow, the Steamweedle cartel under the leadership of Marin Noggenfogger, the Blackwater cartel headed by Baron Revelgaz, or Trade Prince Revelgaz, as they call him now, and the Venture Company, which does not have a trade prince, but is managed by Grimla Fizzlecrank. So, yeah, the cartels are going to work very similarly to the, what am I trying to say? In Ashkahet, the Spy Master, and I can't even think of it now, the Threads reputation. So you're going to have one renown track for all of the cartels. And just depending on which one you choose for the week, you're going to get different buffs and things. But ultimately, you have one renown track for all of the cartels. You'll get a lot of upgrades for your car, for your drive mount, upgrades for the scrap system, which is basically collecting trash. There's going to be a lot of things, and a lot of it's going to be similar to how the renown tracks work currently, where you get recipes, you're going to get Valor Stones, you're going to get crests and things like that. So not anything to get too excited about, but if you want to read through what your unlockable renown rewards are, I will put the link to the blog post in the show notes so you can read it. It's not super exciting, but this is what we're going to be doing in patch 11. To me, this is the weakest part of 11.1 so far. Everything in 11.1 has been so good, and this cartel thing is like, it's fine, I guess. I don't know. I don't like the way that Reputation is handled in WoW. It's better than it was before, but this just feels kind of clunky, and it's intentionally very grindy. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. It's a system that you will interact with by doing things in Undermine, but you really ultimately don't need to care about. As long as you're doing your world quests and whatever the events are, and doing your scrap and your drive. You have to do your deliveries. As long as you're doing all that, you'll get your reputation, and it won't be an issue. So, all right. Finally, the last bit for Modern WoW is that there is a encrypted build now available on the Blizzard developer servers for patch 11.1.5, which means that We're going to get 11.1.5 PTR probably, I would say, a little bit after the 11.1 goes live, or maybe even before, depending on when that happens. Current speculation is that it's going to be February 25th because it got bumped out a week because of Cataclysm Classic, but I guess we'll see. So patch 11.1.5, we're going to start data mining that here soon. As a reminder, that is new content, Nightfall, Horrific Visions Revisited, and Children's Week Update. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Speaking of Cataclysm Classic, the Hour of Twilight arrives on February 18th. So, like I said last week, that was probably what was going to happen based on the ending of the arena season. So, yeah, February 18th, we will get Hour of Twilight patch with regularly scheduled maintenance. The Dragon Soul Raid Dungeon will launch on February 20th at 3 p.m. Pacific time globally. So if you're in the EU or Australia, you're going to be at a weird hour. And then Baradin Hold Alizabal will be added on February 25th. So in addition, we're going to get the 3 dungeons, End Time, Well of Eternity, and Hour of Twilight, and Dragon Soul, which contains the Fangs of the Father Legendary for Rogues, Legendary Daggers. No Raid Finder this time. Blizzard has decided not to do the Raid Finder, as we mentioned last week. So we'll see where that leads when we are going into Miss Pandaria Classic. But as of right now, there will be no Raid Finder in Classic for the Cataclysm expansion. So there you go. That's what's going on in Cataclysm. And like I said, because the patch will launch on the 18th, I'm guessing, and because I thought patch 11.1 was going to launch on the 18th. So if patch 11.1 gets pushed out to the 25th, that means season 2 will start on March 4th. So that's what I'm currently thinking. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just guessing here. All right. In one other bit for Cataclysm Classic is that the overhauled auction house is now available on the PTR. It is likely going to go live with the Hour of Twilight patch, but we don't know for sure that that's going to be the case because they are testing it right now. In case you are not aware, this is the new modern style auction house like the War Within, so you won't need all of your auction add-ons. This will do most of those things for you. You can still use an auction add-on, but you don't need to have one. This is going to be a lot more functional. You can buy things in stacks. You can, if somebody puts out a stack of 100 of something, you can buy 3 of them, and that's just fine. So anyway, the last bit of news for Classic is that they have temporarily halted transfers from hardcore to PvE on the 20th anniversary servers. Some sort of bug, things aren't working correctly, whatever. So yeah, if your hardcore character died and you really want to get them onto the PvE server, you're gonna have to wait a little bit. So yeah, and in Season of Discovery, obviously Naxxramas went live yesterday, so I'm sure that's fun. I was actually reading about the Warcraft logs has a whole thing on how they are planning to handle the Naxxramas bosses in Season of Discovery, and what's going to count, what's not going to count, how they're going to go through and do all the parsing, and it's kind of funny. So, all right. Like I said, a lot of news, just a lot going on in World of Warcraft right now. Okay, this was a blog post that was released on the 5th of February. A word on World of Warcraft for 2025 from Holly Longdale, Player Housing News Today. Well, we'll get to the player housing a little bit later. So Holly has this blog post, which, I mean, it does read like it was written by her, but who knows? So it's really interesting to read how they are planning to, or what their approach to World of Warcraft is. So she says, as many celebrate the Lunar New Year all around the world and in Azeroth, we want to take a moment to pause, reflect on 2024, and share more of what we have planned for 2025. Another year has gone by, and we are so thankful for all of you who have joined us in Azeroth, no matter what flavor you prefer, whether you enjoy Classic Era, Season of Discovery, Cataclysm, Classic The War Within, or more recently, the World of Warcraft Classic 20th Anniversary Edition. Well, that's a mouthful. We are thrilled to have you here with us. We're also moved by your immense generosity when you came out in support of Cure Duchesne by welcoming the Raven Pack into your collection and raising over $2 million USD. We saw you wearing your adorable backpacks and bringing this curious little companion with you throughout your adventures in Azeroth, and we are deeply grateful for your care and kindness. Okay, well, there you go. WoW players are generous. That is for sure. And you put something cute on the store, you'll make some scratch. They didn't say how much money they made from the Brutosaur. I don't know. I don't see if that was in there. No, it doesn't look like that was in there. So learning and growing with you. 2024 has provided us many opportunities to learn and grow this past year, thanks to your steadfast support and feedback. This year, we plan to continue to build on what we've learned, improve the game, and experiment with new ideas to invigorate and bring new twists to Azeroth. We see you two classic WoW players. No matter what classic game mode you enjoy, the development team is dedicated to continuing to listen to your feedback and adjusting, all with an endless passion for bringing you more great experiences ahead. We remain committed to always being in conversation with you, listening, watching, and being as transparent as possible as we cook up new adventures for you wherever your journey takes you in Azeroth. Okay. So that's a nice little intro. Okay, so she talks about player housing, which we'll get to. Okay, so I'm going to skip over all the classic stuff because she's just highlighting what's going on right now in the game. Where WoW is and where it's going. So this is really what I want to get to. She kind of touches on some things here without being overt. Development team has embraced a lot of the feedback we've received from the community, and we have spent a lot of time reflecting on where the game is today. There are a few areas we want to improve on over time, and we have already begun taking our first steps toward setting the foundations for those improvements. Okay, first, we want to make World of Warcraft more approachable for anyone who wants to join the adventures we have available to them. In introducing the new player experience with Exile's Reach, we wanted to create an easy way for new players to begin their first journeys into Azeroth, or bring back returning players in a way that would help them get up to speed. The experience can be better and are working toward new improvements to the feature to streamline the experience in the near term and expand upon what it can be in the future. So here's what I take from this, because I saw a Reddit post where somebody was saying, I really enjoyed, they started playing with their boyfriend. They said, I really enjoyed the Exile's Reach experience, going through that, and I really liked that. But then once they got to Dragonflight, they were completely lost, because Dragonflight doesn't spoon feed you the way Exile's Reach does. It assumes that you know what you're doing. It assumes that you understand how WoW works. And if you don't, if you've only ever done Exile's Reach, yeah, that's a harsh experience. Trying to figure out dragon writing, trying to understand where your quests are. There's so much going on that it's tough. And honestly, I've had times where I've wanted to suggest to somebody that they try World of Warcraft, and I don't, because it's not a good experience for new players. If you've never played World of Warcraft, or you've never played this type of a game, it is a terrible experience. It's awful. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what they do. She goes on, we know that being truly welcoming requires a lot of work around our new and returning player experiences in modern WoW. We are committed to that work, and we will be making some improvements in Midnight and The Last Titan. I'll be honest, this will be a long-term, ongoing journey. As the game evolves and changes with each expansion, there is no quick fix, but we are here for it. Thank you. Stop trying to quick fix things. Set things up for long-term. At work, we call this evergreen. And they do call a lot of features here evergreen too. Blizzard does. So, yeah, I think this is really good. We're also looking at how World of Warcraft is played by different kinds of players, so we can make improvements for everyone. Our UI, UX has been going through steady changes and improvements since Dragonflight. That's true. They've done a great job with the user interface. I'll tell you right now, playing Cataclysm, the user interface sucks. It is awful. And I'm dying to have the modern WoW user interface because it's so much better. So I had to download LVUI because I'm like, I can't do this. That will continue as we learn, research, and evolve. New features like delves, warbands, and follower dungeons, and even housing naturally teach us a lot. More on this to come soon. Okay, an area that we want to double down on in a big way is our community. Here we go. This is it. You are what brings Azeroth to life, and you make our game truly unique. To properly commit to this fundamental aspect of World of Warcraft, we now have a dedicated social initiative within our development team. Social stands alongside our other initiatives like expansions or housing to provide solutions and features like, for example, rewards for positive behavior, easier ways to connect with like-minded players. What? Role-playing, gasp, and more. As an even more specific example, we are looking at improvements to how we connect in-game friends, group finder, and better integration to common external social platforms that we know the community uses regularly. Discord. The team is working on social projects now that we hope we'll be able to share more about over the next year. This is huge. This one paragraph, Blizzard basically just said, or Holly said, Blizzard is trying to fix the WoW community. What? She didn't say, oh, we're going to ban toxic players, or, oh, we're going to... No. But what she is saying is they have created a team within WoW that this is their goal, is to improve the social aspect of a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Having people get rewarded for good behavior is something that I've seen talked about a lot. That there are other games that do this, and it works if it's done correctly. Making it so that players can connect with each other. I've ranted on this podcast many times about the guild finder in WoW. It is terrible. It is so hard to find new friends in game. So what do I have to do? I have to go to the guild finder Discord to find a guild. Yeah, I can't just do the in-game thing and find something. No, I have to use an external app in order to find people to play World of Warcraft with. That is nonsense. That should not be the case. That is shameful that that's how Blizzard thinks the game works. Well, obviously they don't, because they are trying to fix those sorts of things. They're trying to fix the group finder. They're trying to fix your friends in game. All of these things are things that Blizzard is looking at and acknowledging that they have an archaic system that needs to be updated. So we'll see how this goes. I'm hesitantly or cautiously optimistic about this because this is one of my biggest pet peeves in World of Warcraft. Yeah, I know there are people who can just jump into a group and it's like, all right, I've got a group, let's go. That's not me. I need to build a group slowly over time and find a group of friends that I feel comfortable with. Once I feel comfortable with a group of people, I'm fine. I'm chill. I'm good. And I'm actually quite funny, so I've heard. But I don't think that the way that Blizzard has things set up currently works. So it's great to see that they are really trying to improve upon this. So I guess we'll see. And she finishes it off by saying, it's been 20 years of World of Warcraft, and while time may have flown by, the memories we all continue to make together are priceless. We want to continue to help create and share these memories, and we can't wait to share more with you in the year ahead as we build the foundations for the next 20 years and beyond. That's right. World of Warcraft 40th anniversary, baby. Here we go. With sincere gratitude and a hopeful eye to the future, Holly Longdale. This is fantastic. I love stuff like this. I know people are going to, Blizzard, whatever. Why don't you fix the reporting system? Why don't you hire some GMs? Yes, that's not what this is about. Not everything has to be what you are complaining about in the moment to be a positive. This can be a positive, and those other things also need to be fixed. But this is a positive. So take this as a W, kids. This is a good thing. The Blizzard is trying to do this. This is a really good thing. I would love if Blizzard would do some things with social media. Their WoW, Twitter, Instagram, whoever's running those accounts is killing it right now. They are absolutely killing it. It's so good. So yeah, I guess I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we'll talk about player housing next, and but I'm really happy with this post. I feel really good about the current state of the game. I feel like Blizzard has really done a good job of rebuilding trust in the company after a really rough couple of years, honestly. So, all right, before we get to the main topic, let's really quickly run through the what's going on this week of World of Warcraft, because we still have stuff going on in WoW. And yeah, so this is the War Within Season 1, Week 22. I don't have the affixes up this way. It doesn't matter. It's fine. If you want to run Mythic Plus, go ahead and run it. The big thing is it's the War Within Dungeon event, so make sure you pick up the quest, the Emissary of War from Archivist for Thrune in Dornogal. And then if you complete 4 dungeons on Heroic or Mythic difficulty, you will get a piece of hero raid gear. And then you will also get a buff Sign of the Warrior. The final boss of each War Within dungeon drops an extra item, not for keystones, unfortunately, but it does work for Heroic and Mythic 0. Burning Crusade Time Walking, the Sign of the Past buff. Nope, Fell Path Through Time is the quest. Wow, I did not update this correctly. My bad. It's Burning Crusade Time Walking. So pick up the quest and you will get a piece of hero gear from the quest. Let's see what we have this week, and we have 2 more after this week, which is going to be Wrath of Lich King and Cataclysm, and that will end up the Turbulent Timeways. So the PvP Brawl this week is Comp Stomp, so that's where you go fight AI opponents in Arathi Basin. When you zone in, you'll get the quest Something Different to win a PvP Brawl, and you'll be rewarded with Conquest, Honor, and Marks of Honor. And then the Lunar Festival and the Love is in the Air continuing on. The Lunar Festival will end on February 11th on the War Within, but you will continue on to February 18th in Cataclysm Classic. Love is in the Air will end on February 17th for both game modes. So make sure you get all of those things done if you are trying to get anything, if you're trying to farm, if you're trying to get the achievements or whatever it is. So, all right. Like I said, we're going to do this real quick. Let's move on to the main topic of the week.
It's time for the main topic of the week.
As the saying goes, there's no place like home. And well, this isn't right. Hold on a second. Much better. There's no place like home. And as you can see, we are going home. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to our own homes. Blizzard has released some info on player housing, and I will tell you right now, this is not what I was expecting. Honestly, I was expecting a slightly more advanced version of Garrisons, where you can position some furniture. Oh, choose from these 4 couches, choose from these 4 tables. Oh boy. So I don't play Final Fantasy XIV, but apparently Blizzard has just ripped off their system and made it good. So let's go through this, because there's a lot to discuss and a lot of things that I was honestly really surprised by. Welcome home, adventurers. We are excited to kick off your first look at housing in World of Warcraft and share some of our philosophies and plans for this new feature with you. First up, we're focusing on our high-level design pillars for housing, as well as talking about a few key areas of housing as we lay the foundation for future discussions. We have lots to cover, so let's jump in. All right. Fortifying housing with pillars. Okay, so this is really important because we always talk about the end game pillars of WoW. And yes, some of those pillars are more important than others. You have Raid, you have Mythic Plus, you have PvP, you have Delves. Those are your end game pillars. Some of them are better than others, and that's fine. They're doing the same thing with housing or similar things, which is more of their philosophy behind what they want to do, but also here's how it's going to function. When developing such a large new feature, it's useful to start by first defining its pillars. They help the development team get on the same page before we start building, as well as providing a guiding light while making decisions and identifying priorities. It's important to note that while these pillars are broad in scope by their nature, they aren't all-encompassing. Just because something isn't mentioned in a pillar doesn't mean it's not important or isn't part of the feature. Okay, so here's their 3 pillars. Boundless self-expression, or read customization if you want. Our highest priority is to allow players to build a house that shows off their own personal tastes or their warbands, acts as a desired backdrop for role-playing, or just allows players to create something in a flight of fancy. Acts as a desired backdrop for role playing. Come on, you might as well just say you're going to let people ERP in their houses, because that's really what we're talking about here. The tool set should be easy enough for someone with no 3D experience to be comfortable with and use successfully, but it should also be powerful enough that players can surprise us with their creations or drill down to get the tiniest details just right. The gamut of decor options spans not just the cultures of Azeroth, but the many expansions of World of Warcraft as well. This is amazing, because what they're saying is it's not just going to be, oh, here's generic human house, here's the 12 generic human decoration options. No, first of all, the tool set should be easy enough for someone with no 3D experience to be comfortable with and use successfully. In other words, you're going to be able to position stuff wherever you want. Your house is going to be fully customizable. It should also be powerful enough that players can surprise us with their creations or drill down to get the tiniest detail just right. We're going to be able to go in and put things exactly where we want them, position them, turn them, do whatever. There's going to be so many customization options. So this is huge. And then finally, the gamut of decor options span not just the cultures of Azeroth, but the many expansions of World of Warcraft as well. Okay, so you want a Nighthold themed house. Or a I don't even know, a Dark Portal themed house. Yeah, maybe you want a Lich King themed house. That would be pretty cool. Get like a poster of Arthas on the wall. That would be fun. All right, the next pillar is deeply social. World of Warcraft is more fun with other players, and housing should be no different. While players can enjoy housing purely on their own, its systems are designed at a fundamental level to encourage interacting, playing, and progressing with friends, neighbors, guilds, and the wider community in a meaningful way. This is huge because it gives you the availability to say, no, I just want to do this on my own. Or maybe you can have parties and have your neighbors over, do a barbecue in the behind your house. I don't know. Maybe you never know. Yeah, this is incredible because they're really trying to make this. The problem with Garrisons was that it didn't feel social. You couldn't just go visit your friends. So, all right, we'll get into that a little bit more. Long-lasting journey. Housing is being built as an evergreen addition to the game with its own roadmap, reaching across multiple patches and into future expansions. Housing isn't something players should expect to finish, but instead continue to look forward to the next housing release, be it new content or systems. This is a long-term commitment for us as developers, and others offers players rewards all along the way. So, in other words, think about it in terms of like a Mythic Plus. Mythic Plus is never done. We just do more Mythic Plus. We get a new season. Maybe we're going to get expansion themed decorations. Maybe each season we'll get something new. Maybe we'll get things that we can, who knows, maybe you'll be able to build onto your house. Maybe you'll be able to add a second story. Maybe, who knows? I literally did not think that this is what they were going to do. So one more important note, even though it's not an explicit pillar, wide adoption is primarily consideration for us as well. Most players should want a house in Azeroth. If a player wants a house in Azeroth, they can have a house in Azeroth. Furthermore, housing is being designed to scale with players' interest. If someone wants to spend dozens of hours a week on their house, that's great. If they're only interested in coming and going once or twice a month, that's great too. In other words, they're making the system flexible. They're not going to make it mandatory for you to, did you upgrade your house? No, sorry, you can't do the quest line. No, it's a feature that you can go and do, and you have, and it's something that you can play with, just like Transmog. You don't need Transmog to raid or do Mythic Plus. I mean, yes, if you look cooler, you're going to do more damage, but it's not something that is required. But players spend hours a week grinding transmogs, finding the perfect outfit, looking things up on Wowhead to know exactly here's what I want. This could be the same thing with housing, but bigger. Zoning in on home. We've seen a lot of discussion and speculation from the community on where players will be able to have houses. We decided early on that there would be 2 housing zones available at launch, one for Alliance and one for Horde, with more possible places to live in the future. More possible places to live in the future means there's going to be more places to live in the future. They're just being very cautious, not wanting to overpromise. Underpromise, overdeliver, that's how you do it. The Alliance Zone takes inspiration from Melwood Forest with touches of Westfall and Duskwood, of course, naturally. And the Horde is inspired by Durotar, its coastline, and Ashara. There are two main reasons for this decision. One, having many housing zones conflicts with the second pillar of designing a feature that is deeply social. In a world where players can live in many different zones, they become increasingly spread out, and even with aggressive sharding, the chance of seeing other players, much less interacting with them, drops quickly. That's true. They want to make it so that you have people, that you can see people interacting with the feature. They don't want you in your garrison. Putting it bluntly, this is number 2. Putting it bluntly, zones are a lot of work. We'd much rather do a great job with a small number of zones than do a passable job on a large number, or come up with solutions that take the player out of the world into their own personal instance of a zone. Yes. Again, garrisons. We chose these as our starting points because of how iconic they are for their respective factions and how much they feel like home to so many players already. Yes, of course. I'd love a Night Elf one to start off with, but I get it. I'll be fine with a human one in the beginning, and we can move on from there. Okay, outfitting your home. There's a lot, but this is good stuff. There have been discussions in the community on whether housing will be pay to play or win or not, along with other conversations about real-world money. We've been very aligned with our internal conversations that housing is designed to be primarily player-first and not revenue-first. Okay? Now, this is important. What they say is, it's going to be primarily player-first and not revenue-first. They're not saying that they're not going to try and make money off of it. Of course they are. Blizzard is a for-profit company. Their goal is to make profit and make money. Yes, they want to make people happy and have a good game that people enjoy playing, but ultimately their goal is to make money. So there will be revenue. You're going to be able to buy things. So housing will offer hundreds and hundreds of decorations and house customizations via in-game rewards, but will also offer a small number of items in the cash shop as well. This is comparable to how transmogs and pets are currently handled in-game versus the shop. We want to allow players to have as many options as possible for creating their perfect home in Azeroth. So you're going to be able to go do things in-game, maybe, I got to run these dungeons, I got to do these quests, I have to complete these achievements, whatever the different things are that you're going to use to get your rewards. And you're also going to have, maybe there's going to be it's a new bed set on the Blizzard store, or a new closet that you can get for your house, whatever. I don't know. I have no idea what. We can only speculate. But you're gonna be primarily getting this stuff in game, because they want to make this accessible and available to everyone. So, as part of our focus on wide adoption, we wanted to ensure that housing is available to everyone, and this is the Final Fantasy 14 part, which I didn't really know that this is what they did, but if you want a house, you can have a house. No exorbitant requirements or high purchase costs, no lotteries, and no onerous upkeeps. And if your subscription lapses, don't worry, your house doesn't get repossessed. Apparently, these are things that happen in other games. You have to do lotteries to get your house. These exorbitant purchase costs. There's only I think in Final Fantasy, there's only certain houses that are available in neighborhoods, and so the price goes up and up and up. You have to pay upkeep on your house, or expensive upkeep on your house, and if you terminate your subscription, your house gets repossessed. You can't cancel your subscription for a couple of months because you're going out of the country or because you're in school and you're just not really playing a whole bunch, and then come back. Nope, your house is gone. Blizzard is not doing that. You can get a house. If you want a house, you can get a house. You want a house? Here you go. It's not like the real world where you're like, I want a house, and the world says, yeah, screw you. There's no lottery. There's no high purchase cost. You can just go get a house. You will have to pay a cost. Who knows what it's going to be? Maybe it'll be 100 gold, maybe 1,000 gold. I don't know. But it's not going to be 150,000 gold or 1.5 million gold or 10 million gold. I don't even know. They're trying to make it accessible to everyone. So if you don't have a huge amount of money, that's okay. You can still get a house because it's the game. And your house won't get repossessed, which is crazy. Like, what? It's like, you cancel your subscription, we're going to get rid of all your mounts. Like, it makes no sense. Your houses are also shared amongst your warband with your different characters being able to come and go as you see fit. So your orc character can hang out in your alliance house without a problem. Housing rewards are also shared across your warband, so you'll be able to use your decor collection no matter which character earns it. So if you get Night Elf themed rewards and you want to put it in your Tauren themed house, that's fine. Furthermore, it's not just warbands that cross factional lines, but friendships as well. So you'll be able to live in or visit your friends or guildmates' houses and their neighborhoods with minimal restrictions regarding faction. For example, while it's not possible for your human character to buy a house in the Horde Zone, your troll character in the same warband can. And then your human can use it as if it were their own. So your alts can buy houses for your main. So if you really want to live in Orgrimmar or in the Orc area, you can do that. All right, and finally, let's talk about neighborhoods. Before we go, we want to mention the concept of neighborhoods is a small tease. Houses are organized into roughly 50 plot neighborhoods, letting players live next to each other, work together, and share in the rewards of being part of the neighborhood. Neighborhoods are instanced, but crucially, also persistent, so your neighbors can be your neighbors for years to come, or until one of you moves. Neighborhoods also come in two flavors. Public neighborhoods, which the game servers are responsible for creating as needed and maintaining, and private neighborhoods, created by groups of friends or guilds to inhabit, progress, and customize together. Ah, the elusive guild housing. Ah, Blizzard. What a tease. So while an individual player can have a house, the community can have a neighborhood. Okay, so this one is I can't even 50 houses in a neighborhood, okay? Which means that once you pick your neighborhood, you're like, okay, I live here now. That mage that lives down the street, that's really cool, and every time you see them, they're like, hey, can I get some food? And they're like, hey, here you go, buddy. Here's your mage food. You don't even have to think about it. It's just there. And it's that same person every time that you are at your house. That's your neighbor. It's not, oh, I logged in and it's a different instance this time, so I have different people. No, it's going to be always your same neighbor. And if you are in your orc is in your human house, that's okay. Nobody cares. It's just going to be like, hey, what's up, bud? But the really interesting thing here is that we're going to be able to create our own private neighborhoods. So let's say you have a character who's in just an alt, and you want them to just live in a neighborhood. And so when you log onto that character, they're in their house, and it's like, oh, this is cool. But if you have your main character who's in a guild, and everybody in the guild wants to live together in the same neighborhood, you can do that. You can create a guild-run neighborhood. Or it could be just your friends. You and your buddies can all have houses in the private neighborhood where you guys all just live, and whatever character has a house there, and you can visit it with any of your characters. This is so crazy that they are doing this to this extent. The Blizzard they're swinging for the fences on this. I don't know how it works in other games. I've seen some videos talking about the different styles of housing or the different options for housing in different games. This sounds like exactly what I would have wanted. I didn't want player housing. I was like, this is dumb. I don't care about player housing. I don't know why everyone's making such a big deal about this. This is amazing. This sounds so good. We don't even have anything yet. They're just talking. It's pictures and text. But I'm so excited about this feature. So anyway, I hope that you're excited about player housing. I mean, if you're not, that's cool. But let's talk about it. If you want to talk about the player housing and what your hopes are and what your expectations are, I think that's something that as a player base, we need to have these conversations and then take that to Blizzard so that as Blizzard is developing this, they can go, okay, here's a community sentiment that we need to look at. Doesn't mean they're going to do it, but they can at least accept and acknowledge that this is what the community wants and try and work it in if possible. So I think that the whole thing with player housing, for me, what I would use it for is being able to play WoW in a way that I've never been able to play before. I once played The Sims. Or not once. Many years ago, I had The Sims 1, version 1. Not even like... And to me, the only interesting thing about that game was being able to build a house and decorate it and set it up. And there weren't very many decoration options. Of course, there's now 20 expansions, and I think it's on Sims 4 or something. That's fine. whatever. But the idea is being able to build a house to me is an interesting thing because you can customize it. You can have choices. Now, maybe we won't be able to actually build the house. Maybe you have to choose from 4 or 5 different predetermined floor plans. Whatever. I get it. There's certain things that you just can't have super customizable. But what we can do is we can customize the inside. Maybe we can even customize the outside. Maybe you want flower beds outside. Maybe you want a statue on the outside. Maybe you want your path. Maybe you could build the path how you want the path to go. I want my house to orient the other direction so it's facing the river, and then have a path that walks around. Who knows? Maybe you can set up a grill area in the back where you can cook for your friends. This is so interesting to me, and I'm really excited about this new feature. So hopefully this works out. I'm really confident that Blizzard seems to know what they're doing with this, or at least they know what they want out of this. So I guess we'll see. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got to say about the player housing for now. Looking forward to more information and more details about this. Like I said, I don't play any other MMORPGs, so I don't know what player housing is like in any of these. I've heard that Guild Wars has housing, and Final Fantasy 14 and a couple of other games, and it's just, I don't know. I'm really excited about what Blizzard has in store for us. So hopefully it's good and we are not all horribly disappointed. And I mean, come on, Midnight, there's gonna be Night Elf and Blood Elf housing options in Midnight. There has to be, because it's a elf themed expansion. So expect that to come with some point with the launch of Midnight. So all right, I think that's going to wrap up our show today. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. I know that I kind of rambled a lot today, and like I said, it's been a rough week, or not a rough week. It's been a busy week. I've had a lot going on. Like I said, having a house guest is a challenge, and even though he's a great guy, it's still, there's extra work to be done. So, and for all the people who left me feedback about the future of the podcast, I really, really appreciated it. It means a lot to me that people care enough to have a response, even you, Garrett. So yeah, hopefully I'm able to do you guys proud and actually produce a show that everybody continues to enjoy. And the more feedback I get, the better. So if you do have feedback that you want to give about just in general about the podcast, that would be great. I've got some things that are hopefully aligning in the next couple of weeks. I'll talk about it more on next week's podcast, but yeah, we're gonna start mixing things up a little bit. So we'll keep with the roughly hour-long episode length, and generally keep the same format, but we'll try and spice it up here and there. So right, so again, thank you for listening, and if you want to get a hold of me directly, you can. Probably the best way to reach me would be on Twitter or on Blue Sky. I am at Denethar on both of those platforms, or you can occasionally catch me streaming on Twitch or YouTube. I am at Denethar01 on both of those platforms. If you want to check out any of the Azeroth United links, those are all available on our link tree, which is linktr.ee/Azeroth United. You can check out our Patreon. It's patreon.com/Azeroth United. And I'll have the link for the Discord server in there as well. So, yeah, definitely check all of those things out. Go ahead and jump on the Discord if you want to start the conversations on there. There's a lot going on already, but we'd love to have more people on there. I know it's hard. Some people don't like to be on multiple Discord servers, and I get it. But, just go ahead and jump on in. And we're trying, like I said, we're trying to mix things up a little bit. So we're going to be doing some more stuff with the Discord server as well. So look forward to seeing you there in the future. So, all right, that'll do it. Thank you again. Remember to be good to each other out there. That's a real person on the other side of that keyboard. And just because it's a human living in an orc house doesn't mean that you have to be mean to them. You can still invite them to the barbecue. It's okay. They'll probably be really happy, and maybe they'll even bring a casserole or something. Who knows? All right, be good to each other. Take care. I love you all, and I'll see you in Azeroth.